Trump does not make empty threats. The world have seen that Tinubu is not competent enough to look after Nigeria. He doesn't have the muscle and the political will to deal with them. And that's why the Americans are saying, if you lack the political will to stop the jihad against Christians in Nigeria, we will help you come to Nigeria and take care of those Muslims, jihadists. There is nothing like farmers' headers crisis. This is just a mask being used by the federal government to actually gain land that it could not get illegally through legislation. Today we have now seen it because we now saw in every place where these lands are taken by force, indigenous into IDP camps. And while they're in IDP camps, foreigners come and take over their indigenous lands. People will come and say Allah Akbar and then start killing people. And when you ask Tinubu, he said communal clashes. That's not communal clashes. The truth about what's going on is it's a religious war. As the Sunni Fulanis are doing theirs, they are also cultivating Yoruba Muslims in Yoruba land to work with. And this is why the Igbos who were being attacked in Lagos in voter suppression constitute the largest stock of ethnic Christians anywhere in West Africa. About it and the kind of questions that move me because I believe this is exactly what they have organized. So that's not in news. They're holding him. So they simply told us today we are still holding him. So there's nothing wrong with that. I am more interested in the Congress public hearing going on about Donald Trump's intention. Of course, you've heard that the Holy Badu and others went to meet congressmen and they told them that Trump does not make empty threats. It's a strategic thing. The world have seen that Tinubu is not competent enough to look after Nigeria. You can see today's issue and they kind of, compare him to people who are actively killing terrorism, killing Nigerians, kidnapping Nigerians. And in this kind of industrial scale genocide, what do? You arrange for them what the government calls a no kinetic arrangement where they are free and they can freely carry their weapons and then hold the territories they hold. That's why Trump said it's a disgrace of a country. And that's, of course, that's where we are now. We're arguing about if the government will now change its historical instructions to the armed forces not to engage with the Fulani militias whenever they are killing indigenous people in the villages. So now they're saying they will change that policy to tell the army to engage, because that was what made communities to say the army, as Tiwa Danjuma said, that the army were colluding. Because when you see, danger coming to Nigerian communities, and you see these people from Mali, and they have guns shooting to cleanse ethnically indigenous people off their homeland so that it cannot be taken and to be now occupied by foreign Fulanis who do not have any iota of a relationship with not only the state, but also the local community whose land they are now seeking to occupy. And when the government now keeps quiet, based on the instructions to the armed forces not to engage with these militiamen who are driving this genocide, that's why people said, because of that instruction, that the soldiers should not engage with these Fulani militiamen, that the government is complicit in the arrangement. So those are the things you're hearing in the U.S. Congress public hearing and other things. This we have known here in the country. And it is because of that instruction to the army to not to engage the people responsible for this genocide, that instruction of not to engage, is the reason why they have been very successful in taking over communities after communities, and the wave of these ethnic cleansing actions have been successful. So the government has now been caught flat-footed. Then to start to resettle those Fulanis from Mali and Mauritania in Nigeria. And that was why Buhari set purpose towards that program of getting land from every local government in Nigeria in the name of grazing. That move failed because Nigerians saw that behind it were demands for land. The governor said no, they would not give land. And then when that didn't work, Buhari now said cows colony. People didn't listen to that. Then he now said, let us do National Livestock Development Program. Under that program, the federal government was to bring money and the state governors would bring land, because in Nigerian law, under the Land Use Act in the Constitution, the lands are in the hands of the governors. And because of that, the government said, okay, the governors have to be included in this game for them to gain land. But immediately we went to election in 2019, before government could be formed, we now saw a PAMSEC in the Ministry of Agriculture issuing out LPOs for contractors to build rugas for these Fulanis. That was when the Vice President Osibanjo, when he now said, no, he's no more going to be part of it. He withdrew from that plan, and the plan fell apart. So that's when it fell apart. And then Buhari tried other ways to try to gain this land. He tried about grazing routes. Nigerians told him no. Grazing route was an idea by one of the 4 regions. And under the Constitution, since there are now 36 regions, 36 states, that any law or legislation from any of the 36 states, if it clashes with the provisions of the Constitution takes precedent. And that was how we killed the issue of grazing routes. It was just a suggestion by the northern government. Then he now started talking about the water bill. So when the water bill also failed, because in all this, they were looking for water, they were looking for land. And they now had National Inland Revenue, National Inland Waterways Authority go to court on its own, seeking to be allowed the administration of the waterways and embarking land, so that they can get this and then be able to give to the Fulanis. But the refugees themselves, when this couldn't work all, it was now decided that the Fulanis cannot get the land by force. And that was how the elements of the Beyet Allah combined with elements of Tabit al-Pulaku and Gandokoi. These are Fulani militia organizations. And these organizations now started the nationwide wave of industrial scale ethnic cleansings to gain land. So when they were getting that land, and were told not to engage with the Fulanis in what they are doing. When I went to Channels Television to make my presentation, that this is a demography alteration scheme, that is nothing like farmers' headers crisis. This is just a mask being used by the federal government to actually gain land that it could not get legally through legislation. Today we have now seen it, because we now saw in every place where these lands are taken by force, indigenous into IDP camps. And while they're in IDP camps, foreigners come and take over their indigenous land. If Tinubu is serious about it, we expect him to go remove those people, because under Nigerian law, Section 516 for the Conspiracy Act says when you conspire to take something, and then whoever that particular thing stolen is seen with, you arrest him, and under that Conspiracy Act, you find the other person who, in this case, the people who did the stealing, in this case, the people who did the ethnic cleansing, who now obtained that land before the people who are living on it now came to now stay on it. So if you catch them, like in Plateau State, the governor said there are 64 communities currently moved. But as now you can hear, they say that the Plateau State governor is going to join APC. So it might just become, he goes here, he will start talking like the Benue State governor, who say, no, there is nothing like a Christian genocide in my state. That's a political statement to mask the truth of the industrial scale genocide ongoing across the country. Because you see, Plateau State is a Christian majority state. Benue State is a Christian majority state. Benue has 90% Christians, so there are no Muslims. So people will come and say Allah Akbar and then start killing people. And when you ask Tinubu, he said communal clashes. That's not communal clashes. The same thing as Taraba, a Christian majority state. Places like Southern Borno, Christian majority area. Southern Gombe, Christian majority area. Southern Bauchi, Christian majority area. Southern Kaduna, Christian majority area. You know, as places like Southern, what's his name? Kogi State. Kogi is about 67% Christians. So why do you want to take these lands that are water bearing, as General Tiwa Danjuma said, that once your land has water, you become a target for the attacks by the Fulani militia people involved in this ethnic cleansing action? To understand the truth about what's going on is it's a religious war. The Sunni Fulanis felt that when they dealt with the Yoruba Christians in the 60s, led by Chief that the Yoruba Christians are actually very amenable in dealing. So after the Civil War, they started raising Yoruba Muslims to work with people like Chief Kola, Abiola. You can see now Abiola, people like Tinubu. These are Yoruba Muslims. So this is the strategy. So as the Sunni Fulanis are doing theirs, they are also cultivating Yoruba Muslims in Yoruba land to work with. And this is why the Igbos who were being attacked in Lagos in voter suppression constitute the largest stock of ethnic Christians anywhere in West Africa. So, and they are followed only by the TV, who are also up to 98% Catholics. And this is where this issue is. The Christians versus Muslims thing, which started this crisis, was the main reason for Buhari's coup. When Ekweme was
the coup of 1983.
Yes, that coup was principally to stop Ekweme Christian from succeeding Buhari, I mean Bashagari, a Muslim. Buhari told the other Muslims that they won the war and it would be wrong for them to share power with the Christians. Promoted the Islamic cause. Abacha even went further to create a purely Muslim state in Nasarawa, as he plotted, gave the senatorial zone of Nasarawa itself, which was predominantly occupied by Christians who are Ahu people. He gave that to the Kasinawa ruling house in the Fulani ruling system, gave Kefi to the Salabawa ruling house, gave Lapia, where he himself being a Kanuri, maybe that's Abacha, gave it to the Kanunawa, the Kanuris. So the Kanuris were there. When Obasanjo, a Christian, was brought out of prison and he became president, they now started the Sharia against him. And he said, look, that we have a secular constitution, you have no right to start the Sharia. But he knew they just wanted to kill his administration. So he kept quiet, thinking that it is political Sharia to go away. He called Governor Abdullah Hedama and begged him of Nasarawa, don't join these people, don't do Sharia to encircle me here in Abuja with Sharia states. Abdullah Hedama agreed. And when he agreed, Obasanjo, in gratitude, cancelled the link between Sule and Abuja, and now opened a brand new road and link between between Abuja and Kefi, Nasarawa State. That's how you now saw that massive multi-lane express road that opened up. And as it opened up, it now drove populations in Maraba, Nyanya, and Karu. As people came there to stay, instantly, Nasarawa State became, today, a Christian majority state. So these are the dynamics that were there. Abacha created Nasarawa so that it could be that what you call a Muslim state. So this has been going on for long. We now got into democracy. Of course, you've seen how it was. Goodluck became president just by luck. And he's been there. Of course, what you're seeing now against Tinubu was done against him. Violence was used to remove him. So Tinubu being a Southerner, went into alliance with the Fulanis, and as he now got into power, 2 years into it, being a Southerner, though he's a Muslim, is not good enough for them, and they want him out. So that's why you'll now see the calibrated escalation of violence against his government. And of course, he doesn't have the muscle and the political will to deal with them. And that's why the Americans are saying, if you lack the political will to stop the jihad against Christians in Nigeria, we will help you come to Nigeria and take care of those Muslims, jihadists. I can see today, Nnamdi Kanu, the judge said today that Nnamdi Kanu's speeches was what made the soldiers to shoot at the unarmed civilians at the toll gates. It just tells you the man read a speech, probably long written for him, as Showora said, by the government. Don't forget, the man is an establishment judge. That's why Wike uses the man also for the government. Take any government case to him, he will do it for you. So for me, let us watch, let us pray that the intervention of the United States in Nigeria's internal insurgency by the Fulani militias could be coming to a turning point where we will now see President Tinubu give strong marching orders to the soldiers to do something different, to engage against the Fulani militiamen responsible for this genocide across Nigeria.